That's so quick. I like the old one better.
Well, so the overall theme of it's got the Bitcoin logo in a universe that's like fluctuating. I could extend that out. But
yeah, you should extend it out. Like I liked the song, like I like the kind of like
it's rocking.
And I kind of like the logo and everything. I don't know. We're gonna
have
to have a talk about graphic design though.
Yeah, I know. I
just messing with you, dude.
On that.
It doesn't. Nobody cares.
Yeah, we'll work on it. We're only at episode 76 here.
So 1776.
1776. I was born in 1976, a bicentennial baby. I was due on July 4th, but I was like 2 weeks late. And back then they just let you cook. So my birthday was mid-July.
Way to go, Fritz. You could have been like the legit freedom baby. And instead you're like, nah.
Well, now
here for a while.
Yeah, nowadays parents would just schedule it. Like, we're going to get him out. We want his birthday to be July 4th.
Yeah, that would have been dope, dude. July 4th, 1776. Like, heck yeah. I mean, your birthdays would have always sucked when you were a kid, but,
Let me,
like, they'd be like, who wants to come to Fritz's birthday party? Like, we're doing 4th of July barbecue, so sorry, no one can make it. You're welcome. Fritz is welcome to come to our barbecue, though. He can bring his cake. Yeah. Morning, Johnny. How's it going, brother?
Every birthday, it'd be like, I'd be talking freedom crazy, and they'd be going, cool story, bro. Well, did you catch the game?
Yeah, always. Yeah.
That was one thing. I'm out on the coast, Oregon coast here, meeting with family, and on the road myself. But Mariners, I guess, are doing well. I got caught up to date on that yesterday from family members who weren't typically baseball fans, but hey, the Mariners are doing awesome.
Yeah, they're rocking, dude. Yeah, they're crushing it. I'm thinking it's going to be Mariners and Dodgers in the series, dude, and that's going to be crazy for me because I'm a Mariners fan and a Dodgers fan. So I don't know which side to pick. I think I'll just go with whichever one wins. But I'm Dodger Blue, man, so I'm going Dodger Blue 100%. Go Doyers.
Over the Mariners, really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm more LA than Pacific Northwest, that's for sure. I only spent about 6-7 years in the PNW, but I spent like 25 in LA, so LA's in my blood. For sure.
Yeah. Well, that'd be awesome. That would be an awesome game. I'm just glad. I'm trying to remember the last time the Mariners had a chance at the pennant or anything, and it was like the mid-90s or something. But
yeah, that was way back in that was like Ichiro days, I think. So it's pretty cool though. It's fun to watch. The hometown boys getting up there and doing their thing.
Yeah, it's fun to have on the west side here. Little baseball representation.
Yeah, so you're out there among the cathead tails and you're in the golfer's worst nightmare. Like all those golf courses along the Oregon coast, man, they're just a nightmare, dude. Like they're nearly impossible to play. I don't know how people do it, but it's beautiful. Great way to lose a ball.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it'll hit the ground and just sink into the soft, wet grass.
Well, it's like you see all that crap behind you.
Yeah.
All those guys build golf courses like around that shit. So that's the problem. It's like they just lay down a strip of grass between that and they go, golf course. And you're like, you dick. Like, you mean I have to hit it on that grass in the middle? Uh-huh. What happens if I don't? Well, I hope you brought a lot of balls because you're never getting that one back.
Bring your balls and your rubbers because your feet are going to get soaked.
Yeah, it's like Bannon Dunes, and there's a couple others out there. There's some really like world-class elite golf courses in Oregon, but they're super, super hard to play, dude. Like ridiculous.
Well,
yeah, old Lance Armstrong. But there used to be so many great like little one-liner jokes about that guy, and I can't remember any.
Well, you don't see the yellow rubber bands on wrists so much anymore. I mean, he was. I don't even really care. I'm kind of like whatever, but like compared to modern day sports stuff, but the doping or whatever, it's like, I mean, how are you going to
doping, dude? Like
how can you compete at all unless you're pushing fiat? So,
well, dude, they're all dopers, right? So like head to tail, tip to toe, they all dope. It's just some of them get caught. And that's the only wrinkle. But if you're not doping, you're not competitive, dude. Like it just isn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So.
Well, there's crazy stories where, like in the Olympics and stuff, they'll, as they're training and at peak performance and whatever, they'll extract blood that has whatever oxygenated levels and hormones or steroids or whatever in it. And then leading up to their performance, they'll inject just their own blood back into themselves to get all supercharged with the peak blood.
What on earth was that noise, sir? Were you about to be attacked by a super space alien?
Was it on my end? I didn't hear anything.
You didn't hear anything? Oh, maybe it's just like some weird thing with your mic. Anyway, how's the Oregon coast?
Actually, it's perpetually kind of overcastish, misty, but not that it looks like it, but it's that real thick kind of misty.
Yeah.
But it's not raining. It's actually kind of sunny, even in like you call it low sun. We were talking about exercising my eyeballs, the pupil and the iris, where I always typically wear my sunglasses for stuff. And I've been practicing going without just to give my eyeballs some exercise.
Yeah, that's good, man. Like that was Stephen Lubka. For those of you who don't know who that is, he used to be some higher up at Swan, who's now higher up at somewhere else. But he put out a whole, like he was like a sun god guy, right? Like he would just go out and like worship the sun constantly. And I remember he put out like a little like thought paper or something. I mean, it was like almost an academic paper, but not quite. Totally changed my mind about the sun. Like I mean, I grew up in New Mexico, and it's like the sun cancer or the skin cancer capital of the world or something. And I grew up with this idea, like, never look at the sun, just stay inside, be a vampire, sunscreen, all that kind of stuff. And then I read his paper, and it totally transformed me. But I started going out, and one of his recommendations was like, ditch the sunglasses, dude. Like you're absolutely weakening your eyeballs by doing that.
Yeah.
And if you try that in New Mexico, it's a trip, man, because it's high up here and it's bright. Like it is, there's no atmosphere to get in the way of stuff. You just like, but now I'm like able to sort of like tolerate the sun. It's like it's actually nice. Like it feels really good. Like I kind of forgot that I own sunglasses. So
yeah.
Like
exercise. So you get acclimated to it. Your whatever muscles in your eyes are they actually have to work. It'd be like if you're facing a screen all day, every day, and you hear about that, but growing up with screen time and the stretching of your pupils and iris and all that, they get kind of static a lot. You're not like looking around, shifting your eyeballs. Your eyes are used to like moving, fluctuating, handling light, handling darkness. And anymore, we have ambient light all the time and things that are just a foot away from us all the time.
Yeah.
So exactly. I'm trying to practice the eyeball exercise. So
just throw your sunglasses in the trash and call it a day, dude. But I'll tell you what, man, there's like two things that I think people really underestimate in the modern world. And that is you need to chew tough things and you need to exercise your eyeballs, right? If you go look at all like the old Inuit pictures from like pre-colonization or meeting the Westerners or whatever in post, like their teeth are like amazing. Like they're super strong and just perfectly straight. And then they get introduced to Western diets where they're just eating mush all day, like bread and potatoes and whatever, and like
sugars too,
boiled meat. And well, even less so the sugars. Like what happens is their teeth start doing this kind of stuff. Like they just get all janky because like you need to work your teeth to make them strong in the socket, right? And so like all these little mechanisms of life that like the fiat world has sort of negated for us make it so we are like becoming just weaker and weaker and weaker as physical specimens, right? Like our teeth just fall out and rot. But the Inuit were up there like with their Colgate and brushing twice a day and flossing, like, and they had just amazing teeth. But like all Aboriginal tribes always have amazing teeth until they just fall out from age or whatever. And those people, when their teeth finally do fall out, it's because they're like 112 and they probably started eating mush. They quit eating the soft stuff, right? So yeah, exercise your teeth, exercise your eyeballs. It sounds kind of silly, but life is a struggle. Life is proof of work. It's not kick back and stare at one of these things all day. So
it reminds me, like just earlier this week, it's the annual time to, what do they call it, re-enroll in your insurance. And the county is so go figure, rates go up, everything's more expensive. It's surreal for me because I'm blessed, I guess, with some natural good health and I don't have real issues. And I've been hurt, but then I work it out and manage pain and avoid painkillers and do the PT and just try to take care of myself. And lo and behold, got better this last time I got injured. But that was a bear. But anyway, I go into this. HR comes in with their annual health enrollment and all the options. And I'm jaded because I freaking hate the insurance racket, the insurance game anyway.
Yeah.
I hate it, especially in America, when you look at the stats on healthcare costs and the benefits we get. Like at one level, you could say, oh, we get pretty good benefits. But compared to like all over in the world, the costs versus effective service,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's
like
horrible, dude.
off the chart.
Yeah.
And so everything I see about, and it's this whole razzle dazzle. Like, I want to say, if you boil it down, it's into like the fear of shit could happen and my life's insecure and I need to be taken care of. Not to judge people who like need a certain kind of care or who have an ongoing issue that they know how to manage and they want to invest in their FSA account or whatever. I just am like, give me the absolute damn minimum. I don't want anything. And they're like, oh, well, you can add on Nationwide and you can add on Life Flight and you can add on this extra thing in your FSA. And I don't even know what all the add-ons you can add on.
Right.
But they can take half your paycheck to basically give you the
Nothing.
security feeling of insurance, I guess.
Right. Because they'll revoke it the second anything happens to you, dude. So, they're like that guy that got shot up in New York, and all the leftist women just came out and like wanted to gobble on his joint because he,
yeah, what's his name?
But the guy had a point, right? Like that insurance company is notorious for like, what was it? Deny, defend, depose, or whatever it was. Or I mean, but like all they do is just go, oh, you got a claim? Well, go fuck yourself, right? I mean, that's like the straight up, like one after another. They just, I'm not saying the guy should have been murdered, but I go, well, I'm not losing any sleep over it either. So
yeah, people legitimately hate that shit because it's like, oh yeah, oh your house got creamed by hurricane stuff. Well, you had flood insurance, but you didn't have wind insurance. So
sorry. Yeah.
You had wind insurance. Well, you didn't have flood insurance. Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's like they make their money anyway. And then any claim they can deny on top of that for reasons or whatever is just more money.
More money. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it is literally a racket. Like anybody that takes a look at it, you go, well, what kind of business is it that it's guaranteed that I'm going to pay more than I'm going to get out? You go, well, that's insurance. It has to, or else the game doesn't work. Right. So, yeah. And, in the era of the corporate raider and the corporate philosophy of maximize all profits at all times and all that kind of nonsense, it's like, you're 100% gonna be confronted with people that are doing extractive things to you, but that's the price of a consumer-based economy, right? You go, well, hey, we in the United States are 70% of our GDP is consumer spending. You go, well, how did you get that up? Like, how did you get to 70% where you're actually consuming more than you make? Well, we sell things like $500 a month insurance. And we employ legions of baboons that sit there and push buttons behind the scenes so we can afford to pay them based on your $500 per month insurance, right? And then we make it mandatory. And, so that's how that capture game goes. It has to. Like, if you want to live in a consumer economy where all you get to do is just walk down to the store and buy like meat that's cut for you and, vegetables that are already prepared for you and all this kind of stuff, like the cost of that is also that you have to pay for all the other services and things that you don't necessarily need, right? So I don't know, man. Buy Bitcoin, stay humble, stack sats, sign your balls.
Bitcoin. Now I had my thoughts in my head long before Bitcoin, but Bitcoin solidified reasons and my incentives behind it all, so that every year when the health options come around from HR and they have the talk, and one, you have to go to this meeting, you have to hear it all, and you have to fill out the form, and you cannot opt out. You will get insurance. It's just a matter of which plan you pick. Thou shalt be covered. But on top of that is all the offerings of everything else, and the county's paying a chunk of it anyway, but they can't get off the hook either. Like, for the insurance thing for them is that they need their employees covered. And on one hand, you could say, well, that's the right, healthy human thing to do, is to take care of your employees. At another level, there is no opt out.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Well,
I'm
that's the funny
healthy,
thing. Like,
no issues, and never have. Can I opt out? No. And if you do the math, it's
you would have
hundreds of
saved, yeah.
dollars of the minimum is hundreds of dollars a month.
Oh, right. Yeah. Like you over your lifetime, especially if you actually take care of yourself. Like the thing is, you said earlier, like I have some sympathy for people with ongoing conditions, blah 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 blah. And I go, I really don't
I
anymore.
don't.
I mean, like there is a subset of people that have chronic illness, right? Like genetically or whatever, through like environmental exposure to toxins and things like that that they had no control over, right? And then there's the overwhelming body of just big fat lazy people that just want a pill and don't want to do anything. And so they'll sit there and let their diabetes get out of control, and they'll let their this get out of control, and they'll be drinking and alcoholic and this and that and the other thing. And they just refuse to exercise. They refuse to walk more than 10 feet. They have to have a little go scooter cart, or they have to do this, or they have to park as close as they possibly can, or they'll drive a block away and do like shit like that. You just go, well, how do you think human beings survived for the last 250,000 years? I don't think it was just from sitting in the cave getting fat. It was from like being out, being active, and even myself, like I can look at the world and go, oh yeah, well, I'm doing better than them. But I saw this really interesting interview with a guy who went down and lived with the Hazda in was it Tanzania, I think. It's a African tribe. These guys are pure hunter gatherers still to this day, right? Like they're hunter gatherers that consume what they as they go, right? There's no like hoarding or stocking or raising goats or whatever. And this guy said, "Man, I'm in really good shape. I could not keep up with these guys at all. Like these guys can run all day, and then they're running through the desert, and then they'll stop and drink like a cup of water, and then they'll keep going, and they're good. I'm out there just like dying, just like, oh my God." And he said his guide was like, these guys are going, "Hey, how come this guy doesn't know how to hunt?" And he goes, "Oh, you don't understand. Where he's from, other people like go kill his meat for him and cut it all up for him." And they're like, "What? What are you talking about? That's ridiculous." But he said even the little kids could just run circles around him. He's like the amount of endurance they have, their strength, their overall like fitness level is like what we might consider a professional athlete here. And that's just the average Joe, right? Because they're out using their body the way nature intended it, So for even someone like me who can like crank out 100 burpees and do all this kind of stuff, I'm like, I still couldn't hold a candle to those guys, dude. They'd run circles around me. I am not adapted to like conserving water, and I'm not adapted to like conserving nutrients and things like that, So it's the modern life has its perks, but man, it comes with a cost, and quality of life is one of them. So for all those people that are sitting around that won't even do the bare minimum of like, well, just walk around the block twice a day or something, it's like, oh, but I'm sick, I'm chronically ill. Like, no, you're not. You're chronically lazy. Like, you're chronically outsourcing your humanity to someone else so you can be a better farm animal, right? But
yeah,
maybe that's just the way people are.
Yeah, not just farm animals, but quite domesticated. And I mean, we grew up just evolutionarily just walking all day, every day, walking. And nowadays you have to deliberately get your steps in. Like, right. I got to get my steps in just so I'm running from the devil basically. But anyway, no, the fiat food, fiat health. I mean, one reason, we live like kings out here, Johnny.
Yeah. Please cut my meat and feed me. That's exactly right.
Fat and happy,
that's all of us. Like, none of us can escape that criticism, right? It's so true. It's like, oh, but will you cut it for me? The pieces are too big. I might make a mess. Oh, there's fur all over the place. Oh my God.
And then here I am with my kids in the morning where we're traveling. So the food's a little different what you get or packed or, have on hand while you're, staying somewhere randomly. And it's like, it's the same, say, meat or the same, say, fruit and vegetable. It's just cut differently or tastes differently or isn't quite the same. And so my 4-year-old, go figure, she's like, yeah. And I mean, it's a thing between parents, but my wife's kind of like accommodating. And I'm like, if she's not hungry, she's not hungry.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the healthiest thing you can do for a child in the modern economy is just like let them feed naturally, so they get eating naturally, right? Because
they need to eat, but they won't eat unless it's sweet or soft. And it's I'm just like, this is good food. It's the food we have, If you don't want to eat it, that's fine. I'm not going to force so when I was growing up, I had to sit there and finish my plate, and that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to force my kids to eat or clean their plate. But if they're hungry, and they're not hungry now, but they're hungry later, it's like, hey, we had food then, and maybe I'll accommodate some. But I just have a different mindset about, good food, and if you're not hungry, don't eat.
Right. Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, it's teaching self-regulation ultimately, right? Like it's teaching people to go, hey man, like you need to sort of coordinate your needs with a schedule on some level. And if your needs are not being met by that schedule, then you need to slowly integrate that schedule until it becomes synced, right? I think like natural feeding is probably the one, like another critical health issue that people like. There's a reason why so many people are fat, because they're like, oh, you have to eat 3 times a day, 5 times a day. You got to have 3 meals plus 2 snacks. You got to eat 6 small meals. You got like all this like really nonsensical sort of dogma that gets bandied about, where people are just like, I must do this because my blood sugar got low and now I've got headache, right? I mean, it's just like absolute batshit craziness. But if you look at like natural feeding habits, like if you look at any Aboriginal tribe in the world, you go, how often do these guys eat? And they go, well, like once every couple of days, they have like a big meal, right? And then the rest of the time, they kind of graze a little bit on like nuts and whatever. Hey, there's a new retard just went. There's our local Fed. Have you come to learn about dietary habits of Aboriginals, sir? Hi, Travis. How's it going, man? You want to hop on the stream?
I could send him a link, I suppose.
You could. It's episode 76, dude, the Freedom episode. Did you know Fritz was almost born on the 4th of July?
Yeah. Bear with me while I clumsily get the link.
Well, I can just keep talking about Aboriginal diets. So nevertheless, if you look at the Aboriginal diet, it's like once every 2 or 3 days they'll have a big meal. And then the rest of the time they're like, oh, I'm a little snacky. And then they have, they grab a handful of nuts or some dried meat or whatever. But the beauty of that, and I kind of thought about it a little bit, like right now, if I go, gosh, I'm hungry, quote unquote, meaning I'm bored, I'm sad, I'm lonely, I'm depressed, I'm this, I'm that, like any number of things that may or may not indicate actual hunger on my part, like my body needs fuel. I can walk like 10 feet and go, oh, I have a smorgasbord of things to choose from. If you're an actual true hunter-gatherer, like you go, oh man, I'm feeling a little peckish right now. I'm bored. I'm sad. I'm lonely. I'm whatever. I'm mad that Tom stole my sandals last week. I'm going to go eat something. Oh, that means I have to go walk out in the forest somewhere and like pick some stuff and do something. Like I'll look at the fridge that's full of food and go like, I don't feel like doing any of this because it's going to take me 5 more minutes than I wanted to satisfy this urge. Whereas if I was a hunter-gatherer, it'd be like, I'm not going out there to go pick fruit. I'm just going to lay here. It's like way easier. I'll wait until I'm really hungry. And then when I'm really hungry, I'll be motivated enough to go get food. Other than that, not bothering, Like I might save up a bag of nuts for later. But other than that, like I'm not carrying around 40 pounds of food everywhere I go just to make sure I can always be satisfied when I'm snacky. So it kind of makes sense. But those guys look great when they, if you check them out without their shirt on, they definitely got the beach bod 24/7. And I don't think they're out pumping weights and, hitting the elliptical every week. So,
yeah, they're just walking and living. And the feeling of hunger.
Come on, Johnny. These nuts. Got some of these? These what? These nuts.
People get that feeling in their brain of like, I am starving if they say miss lunch. And so the whole fasting thing too, it's a bit of a, have you ever practiced, say, going without food for a day or two, or habitually skipping breakfast or missing lunch and then still being okay. And the feelings that you feel there are times where you're like, oh my gosh, I'm starving. And then you're fine.
Right. Yeah.
But instead of water, I need the trough. I need my whatever. Wake up and eat. And then it's been a few hours. Okay, break your fast again and eat. And then got to have dinner. And then you're up late and I'm going to be snacky. And anyway.
It's very dysregulating for all sorts of natural processes.
And then go figure, we're like, we struggle with mental health too.
We're fat and unhealthy.
we have everything and we're like unhappy about it or seeing all the problems. But some human nature there. I heard a funny thing. Where was it? Recent podcast. What Bitcoin did. I think might have been with Matt Odell, and it generated the title for today. I was just coming up with something. The biggest threat to Bitcoin, and they quoted Saifedean, who said the biggest threat to Bitcoin is governments becoming fiscally responsible.
That's ridiculous.
Like, you know what? It kind of is. Like at this point, what was it? 20 billion or 40 billion we bought of Argentine pesos. How do they not print the money?
Say what? What the hell are you talking about? 40 billion pesos.
We like bailed out Argentina.
Did we?
Yeah.
That was nice of us.
Yeah.
Well, hi, Travis.
Hello.
How's things, bud?
You heard that, right, Travis? So the first thing I heard was because the U.S. is concerned about China getting entangled in South America and, well, everywhere, Africa and elsewhere. But it's sort of like if we don't buy these pesos, China will. And it's, what Johnny says, 20 billion in pesos. Later, I heard 40 billion. Maybe it was just 20 billion. But
what was that, like $50? Like what? We sent them $50? Thanks a lot. Here you go. Okay.
Yeah,
no,
I
it
was me.
No, I think we spent 20 billion in USD.
Oh, so we got like 10 trillion pesos is what you're saying.
Something.
So what are we going to use that for? Is that like are we going to
influence?
I don't think it's influence. I think they're going to send it to like the Boy Scouts so they can use it as a fire starter, dude. Like, isn't that? They'll just send like bands of pesos and just go, here you go. Like, use this to start your campfire, kids.
I mean,
what a joke.
In the process, effectively, I see oligarchs getting rich, or when there are troubles or whatever, it's like, hey, we'll run it for you. The CIA's in there. Businesses are in there, and basically this business will run your water or your sewage or your electricity, or like we're willing to help, but now they have like leverage on all that.
Always. Yeah, 100%. I mean, anybody that bought into that Malay narrative was sort of like, yeah, I mean, it's fun to watch. Like, I was like, yeah, I hope this guy's for real, but you just know at the end of the day, like, there's zero chance that guy's going to come out and like do anything other than just inflate the currency. They have to, right? Like, it's baked into the cake, dude. Like, you don't get to play leader in this world and not inflate your currency. Like, there's just zero chance that's going to happen. You can't do it because the United States is the peg, and they're inflating constantly. So if you're not keeping up with that, you're going to get wrecked. I mean, it's just impossible to do otherwise.
If you can't inflate, you will.
Right? Yeah. If you can, you will. 100%. That's
intermediate times and the Caesars. Everyone does.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what it's there for. Like, people kind of, I mean, like I was just telling Fritz offline, like I started a new book, and the book is literally, it's tentatively called The Money Problem. And I'm going to do like another kind of deep dive anthropological look at money and stuff like that. But at the end of the thing, the core of the thesis is like, look, man, money is not, you can't have sound money. There's no such thing. And when people, I want sound money, I'm like, you're literally begging for a sound tax. You go, I want sound tax, because money is only there to tax you. Like, it's that only purpose. That's what it was built for. That's what it's designed for. And when people talk about free markets and then trading with money, and that's, I go, that you've got that entirely backwards. Like, markets come from tax, not, you get taxed because of markets are working kind of thing. So we'll see how well this book is received. I'm going to try and make it a little less dense than the last one, but man, I'd love to hear some Bitcoiner takes on sound money, and let's duke it out a little bit. You guys ready?
Taxes are just another subscription service that you just can't opt out of.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
You're not allowed to ask what you're getting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's the same thing as the mafia guy, right? The guy that comes along and goes like, hey, there's a lot of bad guys around here. You should pay me some tax. I'll make sure those bad guys don't come around.
Yeah, you know how I feel about that stuff. I want to privatize everything.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I don't know, man. Like,
There's a
there's
lot of
always leadership, dude. There's always a hierarchy. There's always force. You know.
Yeah, and like Bukele said, like it was it a year ago, you know, if they can just print the money, why do we pay this tax? And it's like a humiliation ritual where the mob, say the mob analogy, the mob has all the money they need and want. They don't really need your money. But by extorting you, even just a little bit, they're reminding you who's in charge.
Right.
So there's a process there where if you don't want your switch flipped off, you pay your tax. And they don't even need the money, but they need you to know that you are part of their system.
Well, no, I mean they need the money though, dude. That's the point. Like the money is there so they can get stuff from you, right? Like that's the whole purpose of money is they go, well, hey, we don't want to just steal stuff directly from Fritz because Fritz can only make so many shoes every year. But if we make Fritz pay a tax that we can give him back so he will do labor or he will create things or he will make things that we need, then that's a better system for us, right? Like all we have to do is just like throw out bits of paper, shells, wampum, whatever you want to call it. You know, in Western economies, it's like gold, silver, paper, right? It's like, oh, we just make a bunch of gold, silver, paper, and we just make people take this, and then we can just give it back to them, so we can get stuff from them when we need it. Like that's the simplest, direct form of taxation you can get, right? So you develop all these economies and your ability to store taxes up for later use and all that. That's your quote unquote store of value, but your medium of exchange is like, well, we can exchange tax receipts, so you can pay your tax, I can pay my tax, and we get a little extra tax so we can pay. But that's the whole core of the thing, right? Like the idea of like we need this as a medium of exchange is only viable if you have state authority and state taxing power and coercive force hovering over your head. So
Square just recently did a big.
tired of my conversation, Fritz. You're just like, nope.
No, this relates. So by Square implementing the payment rails to be very transferable in Bitcoin, so that retailers can sell all their goods and do point of sale stuff in and out of Bitcoin real quickly. What that does is create a siphoning effect of money and businesses' money out of fiat and into Bitcoin if they so choose. And so that creates more of a siphon. It puts pressure on the great realignment and on the legacy system, I think.
Potentially, yeah.
Deal with it.
You still got to pay your tax in dollars.
That's true. Whether they take it in Bitcoin or not, they got to pay taxes.
I will point out that most people don't really pay taxes.
Most people don't pay taxes. Everybody pays taxes. What are you talking about?
I mean, like if you look at the amount of like how much your taxes represents the total tax paid, it's like barely anything. And a lot of like think all the poor people that don't actually pay, like they actually get, they take money, like they get paid, like as soon as they have child tax credits and all those other tax credits, right? And if it's usually kids, but also if they just don't make that much money, I mean they might pay a little bit in taxes, but then they get more than what they paid by the end of the year, right? So I don't know how many people that is.
That's a fractional number compared to the amount of working people that are paying into the system, though. I mean, it's like because on the other side of that argument is like all these rich people pay way more than taxes than all you worker bees put together. So blah blah. You know, I mean, but it ends up being the same sort of circular argument. Like whether or not someone's paying more or less doesn't negate the fact that right in the fat juicy middle, everyone's paying an absolute truck ton, like 30 or 40% of your income, quote unquote, goes to.
I don't know how many. I don't know if it's a majority or not.
There's a growing number of people that are really just taking, though, the welfare state.
Well, that's also a natural evolution. I mean, you can't keep automating away jobs and then keep expecting people to produce tax receipts, right? Like it just doesn't. That math doesn't add up. The math isn't mathing there. So they're running into some structural problems pretty soon, for sure.
Yeah. So with AI and a lot of this stuff, I mean, there's going to be serious talk about doing universal basic income. I think because it's like, well, AI and all this other stuff, it's taken away and changing the landscape of all these jobs, and there's going to be a push for not just UBI, but the associated national ID and all that.
Right.
CBC.
Well, I mean, what else are you going to do, though? I mean, what's the solution?
Bitcoin. So that's the thing. I think it's coming. Like, I don't know how we would avoid money printing, UBI, and national ID and the CBDC. What's the solution?
Right.
Get on Bitcoin.
Well, that's the solution for some people, like the very tiny fraction of human beings that actually understand any of this stuff that we're talking about. But for the rest of the 8 billion people on planet Earth, you go, okay, what's the solution? I don't know. How do you fix? Yeah, I've automated away all your jobs.
So the answer, by the way, on net drain, net positive on taxes, it's about half.
Wow, neat. That's pretty good.
Yeah, kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is a increasing share of the pie for sure. Well, I mean,
a lot of corporations write so much off that when they actually pay taxes, or a lot of wealthy people, on paper they look like they're in debt. Really.
Oh yeah, I'm hoping that's what we look like as a corporation in America. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Well, the broad point being, though, is even those people that are at the bottom of that ladder are still paying into a taxing system of some sort, whether or not it's, like everything they do, they're being taxed by the debasement, they're being taxed by sales tax, they're being taxed by, any number of things. So it's the broad point of it being like the purpose of money is to extract. The purpose of that extraction right now is to gain power over, like the tension in the United States right now is between the communists and the whatever is the other side of that, I guess, the strongmen basically. So you kind of go, well, whichever lever they can pull that's more effective to marshal more of those resources under their banner so they can use them for extractive purposes is what's going to prevail in here. And I think the United States tends to be pretty resilient towards, things like communal distribution of assets, but that's also been eroding very steadily for 100 years. So it's really interesting. It'll be interesting to see where it goes. But when it comes to like things like UBI and all that kind of stuff, I think it's almost inevitable. Like I don't maybe I just lack imagination, but I don't see how the other 8 billion people survive. Like it does you very little good as an owner and hoarder of massive amounts of resources to just let all of your resources starve to death and die, because then you don't have any resources anymore, right? So you kind of lose the game. So how do you make sure that your resources are still productive enough for you that you control them? Like you can send them off to war, or they can fight for you, or whatever it is. Whatever you need to extract from them, you can still do. But then not just let them, sit around in huts on the street and turn, the entire United States into like a open air garbage pit. So I don't know. I don't know if Bitcoin gets us there.
I think that the people interrupt those processes like throughout history. So like if there's enough, for example, young men that are disenfranchised and don't have jobs or don't work, they usually get into trouble, and they start taking resources.
Yeah, 100%. That's exactly right.
Or you send them to the New World.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Well, I think that's what we're looking at right now, right? Like we just imported 50 million of nice young fighting men. So I wonder where they'll end up.
Well, and if say UBI comes to pass here, what is that? 20,000 a year, 30,000 a year. It could be 50,000 a year, and people are going to feel like maybe they're scraping. But basically, you set this ceiling on people where it's like, hell, unless I'm working hard to make more than that, why would I ever bother? It's going to affect.
Is that me?
You look fine to me. Can you hear me?
Oh, we might have lost him. He's frozen on my side now.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
I'm not frozen. Am I here?
Wow. That was like a kaboom.
I think there'll be a lot more people buying Bitcoin with their UBI.
I hope so.
I think people will be making those.
We saw it during COVID with the little $2,000 thing. I can't remember.
Checks, yeah. Oh yeah, dude. There was all kinds of like well-to-do middle-class people that are piling into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it'd be if there's a ceiling there for people, why there's gonna be a cultural inertia to like not overcome that. It'll be like, I can make enough and be a bum. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm sure they'll eventually. Like there was like a hut tax in Africa for a long time when the British came down. I can't remember which country they went to, but they put a hut tax on people. They said, "Oh, you got to pay your hut tax. And you got to pay it in British crown papers or whatever." And the purpose of the hut tax was like, well, we need these people to come out and start build some roads or something. So they need to come up with some way to pay us this tax. So get to work, jackass. And when it comes to the UBI and all this kind of stuff, it wouldn't surprise. Like sooner or later, someone's going to look around and go, hey, we got a lot of people that are just sitting around playing fucking Call of Duty all day, and that's no good. But we could use a new road. So hey, you want your UBI this week? You better turn up to the work center and put in your 10 hours or whatever. And then they just have these guys out there busting rocks or something like that. You go, I'm crippled. You go, okay, well, we got some cripple work for you, so come on down here. But otherwise, we're cutting you off, and GFY. So
I think there'd be a need for like price controls and rent control after a UBI gets introduced. And things, but I just think those things would follow.
Yeah, it's a pretty natural evolution, I think. I mean, it all goes to hell in a handbasket, basically. Like
prices start inflating, and then everyone starts complaining because the UBI becomes more worthless, right? The inflation and debasement just goes crazy, and then price controls and rent control are like, what is the government's way to try to solve that?
Right. Yeah, and then we end up in Soviet breadlines. So I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, well, so get you some Bitcoin, man. Opt out of that system for sure, if possible. But for the rest of the people that aren't getting on the arc, I go, things aren't looking great for you. But my hope is that it propagates out. What's that, Travis?
You need a side economy that just accepts Bitcoin, kind of like in Brazil, where there's an economy for dollars and stable coins, and there's an economy with their shitty local fiat currency.
Right. Yeah. Hey, you got a little Bitcoiner on. We got a junior Bitcoiner joining the show.
My daughter wanted to say hi. She saw me over here by the beach. The theater's coming in crazy, so it's been anyway.
Yeah,
not as much beach.
Well, you should ask her what we should do about the UBI. She probably has a better answer than any of us.
I know. What I don't burden kids or grandkids with is like, well, yeah, you can just get your UBI and be creative and do what you want and be a bum. It's like incentivizing the next generation to overcome that and understand that life is for more than welfare. So
yeah. Well, I mean, I think an ideal economy develops when people start taking on craftsman type roles, and that keeps people busy. It keeps people using their fingers and toes, and it also keeps generating those tax receipts. So you can kind of keep that fiat illusion going for a little while longer. And you kind of see it in places like, well, I mean, all throughout the U.S. economy, right? There's all these people doing craft brews and craft this and craft that, because like if you don't do a craft thing, then you're like stuck in the grind. And if you lose your grind, then you have to come up with something. So it's either like you go Uber or you do DoorDash, or you come up with something that you hopefully can, add value to society and then extract some value for yourself, right? And I think like with Bitcoin on the balance sheets, like as the big players kind of get more and more of that, it hopefully protects them from this inevitable debasement that's coming. And if they can protect that, they can sort of protect jobs. And there might be some like paths forward where people go like, you know what, instead of automating this, maybe we keep the little worker bees working so we can keep the game going a little bit longer. And I think there is a path forward where it kind of nets out, where we don't end up on this UBI and everyone's just destitute and living in tent cities all around the world. And there's just a select few people that get to thank the gods every day that they get to go sit in an office and grind for 16 hours and stuff like that. But I think it's a narrow window, and it's probably closing rapidly. But if there was ever a window created in the history of mankind, I think Bitcoin provided it. So I'm ever hopeful. I remain optimistic that I can convince about 2 or 3 million people to run a node, and then make this thing like actually stick and give it some legs. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, run nodes. I mean, if there's any risk to Bitcoin, it's definitely the number of decentralized nodes running.
Without a doubt.
The strategic Bitcoin reserve has grown in the States. It just grew By 127,000 Bitcoin,
Yeah.
$14 billion in Bitcoin.
I'm not entirely certain what law changed in the United States of America that said when a victim loses assets that the state seizes it. But I guess that's a new thing now that Bitcoiners are cheering for some reason. Like, hey, these guys stole a bunch of Bitcoin, and then the feds came in and got it back, and then they said, we're going to keep this. Gee, like,
Yeah.
Well, I wonder if they'll redistribute it. You know, all those pig butchering scams, that Chen Z guy's on the run, I guess. I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's lawsuits, like civil lawsuits, to get funds. Like if the victims can prove that their stolen funds were in that pool that was used. I mean, that happens all the time,
right.
And I wouldn't be surprised if there's efforts to, like, if there's open cases that, you know,
Right, could resolve that way. Yeah,
I would be shocked if they don't do that. Usually, that money will just sit somewhere, and people will fight over it.
yeah.
So,
Well, let's hope. I mean, because right now people are saying stuff like it's in our strategic reserve now. I'm like, really? Because those are proceeds of those are things that were taken from people by a criminal. So maybe, but I mean, even that itself, it's like, well, you got to sue to get your own money back, right? You got to go through some big long, run out legal process, rather than the government going like, hey, let's figure out who lost all this money so we can get it back to them, right? Like that would be like a benign, sovereign doing the right thing kind of thing. But they go, well, we'll just keep it. If someone tries to claim it, we'll fight them for about 2 or 3 years, and then maybe we'll give it back, and then we'll tax the shit out of them for it. It's just like,
I'm surprised it was in Bitcoin. Like I don't really know all the details of how they seized it. Like, reading some of the announcements, it almost sounds like they seized it from different cryptocurrency exchange accounts. I'm surprised that like that is where those funds were left. Like, why wouldn't they like hold their own keys?
right? Yeah,
maybe they do, and that's just like a small percentage of what they made.
Yeah, you never know. It's crazy, man.
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine earlier this week as well, who I've been telling him about Bitcoin for years, and he knows I'm into it, and he's well aware of the big picture issues in the world, and we agree on a lot. But in his mind, he's just like, I don't understand Bitcoin. I don't do the digital thing. I can't figure it out. But he's got a smartphone. I mean, he can do plenty on his smartphone. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to go crazy deep dive on everything. But if you can run an app and get off zero and just play with it a little bit, you can do Bitcoin easy. And but in his head, he's just like, oh, no, that's just, I'm old and it's complicated. He doesn't want to, but he's into gold. So for some people, if they can't figure out Bitcoin, I mean, maybe gold is sort of that alternative, non-fungible, non-transferable mode option, maybe.
I guess. I don't know, man. It's subject to capture, so it makes it a lot less shiny to me. But Johnny said something here. I think there will always be people who come up with solutions to problems and profit from their inventiveness. I agree 100%. I would say, Johnny, if you just look through history, the doomsayers are wrong 95% of the time. Like, there will be people, since the dawn of agriculture, people have been coming on, the end is nigh, everything's going to fall apart, we're all going to die, blah, 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 blah. And they've been wrong almost all the time. Yes, things do eventually, something terrible happens, we get hit by a meteor or whatever. But for the most part, if you had been like a pessimist for the last 5,000 years, you would have been wrong for 4,900 of them, right? So I think there's always, it's easier to be fearful of things, and I think it's much more optimistic to kind of look forward and go, well, chances are good someone's going to figure something out, because it benefits everybody if you try and figure out the problem rather than digging a hole in your backyard and like locking yourself away in a bunker.
You got to physically secure it, and if you really, I mean, your whole economy shrinks to your community where you can physically travel and then physically exchange metal. So yeah.
Well, I don't, I mean, that, I don't know. I think optimism is probably a stronger trait amongst human beings in general, but it doesn't mean you got to be a Pollyanna and just sit there with like an ostrich with your head in the sand. But looking forward to solutions. I think solutions are on the horizon about always, right?
Bitcoin is hope.
Johnny's meteor cleanup service. I love it. Dude, that's gonna be a cash cow right there, man.
Never let
your hands, dude. Like I'll scrape up all the bodies, bro. I'm here. I'm ready to go.
Yeah. I'll haul bodies. I'll bag your pets, whatever.
Yeah.
Never let a good emergency go to waste. Hey,
Yeah, exactly.
capitalize on that.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Well, have we solved the world's problems yet?
What else happened? So thinking of the pig butchering payout. Like, yes, money should go to the victims. Last week as well, it was an interesting week this past week. My wife gets a $35 check from Facebook because and I don't use Facebook, but there was some class action lawsuit or thing that you could fill out a form, and because there was a data leak, and I don't know, everybody's data went somewhere, I guess, go figure. She got a $35 check because she was a victim of data breach.
Dang.
Like, okay.
That's awesome.
I can imagine. So the government's like, hey, if you were the victim of a pig butchering scam, fill out this form and
we'll send you $35.
And then what are you going to get out of it? How many people capitalize on that or know about it or want to admit it? Yeah, I don't know.
That's crazy, dude. Like, well, I mean, if you just think about how much damage is caused by that, like the DOC in Oregon had a huge data breach, dude. And this was like right after they had passed a law. It says, hey, any data breaches, we're going to hammer fuck you. And then the DOC was like, oh, we just had a big, I mean, it was like social security numbers and addresses and everything. I'm like, I still haven't seen a check for that, but I know my data is out there. And this is some like deep, law enforcement background data stuff, right? That just is like floating around now. I go, well, that's kind of funny. Like you people in the state like wanted to go hammer like Facebook for when they do a data breach, but when you do it, they're like, oh, well, no money for that. We can, that it's different because it's the DOC, and we're not going to do this. I can't remember how many it was. It was huge, dude. It was like a massive data dump, and it just got buried, and no one paid any attention to it. I remember looking at it like, come on, baby, give me my $75, you bastards.
That might be enough for Identity Guard for a year.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's just retarded, dude.
Everyone will get a free subscription for a year from dataguard.com.
So, yeah, but you have to enter your credit card first, and if you forget about it, they're just going to
store your data, and we'll protect your data.
Yeah, for $20 a month forever, and you'll just be sitting there one day looking at your credit card bill, going, "When the hell did I sign up for this?" Oh yeah, after that time, the DOC lost all my data, and now they're getting a kickback from this company for all the people they signed up. Ridiculous. These people are just baboons, man.
That's one thing that's nice about Nostr apps and services is that if you're like connecting and opening an account with these apps or services, you're just using your private key for your Nostr identity, right? It's just one key, and that's it. And you're not using your identity, your PII, as like a login or as an account creation mechanism.
Right, it's just a validation tool. I am who I am.
Also, that obviously it's a lot more private, a lot less risky, but. What ends up happening is people will lose their key or their login credentials, right? And then there's no way to recover it.
Right.
That's kind of the trade-off.
Yeah, huge trade-off, unfortunately, because most people are freaking baboons. Hey, you still running graphene, dude?
Yeah, but I was actually thinking, let me switch to a different mic. 1 second.
Yeah.
So yeah, stamp your Nostr private key on MicroSeed. Try not to mess up.
Yeah. Why not?
They should make a NIP for seed phrases for Nostr, because right now, as far as I know, maybe there's something, but your NPub is like this quite a thing.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah, we're hearing great.
Cool. I was hearing feedback, so hopefully this is a little bit better.
Yeah, loud and clear, brother.
Cool. I forget what we were talking about.
Nostr
apps having privacy. You can use your Nostr ID to log into Nostr services.
I was looking at streaming this pod on Nostr because there's a lot of vlogs and stuff happening there now, and I got to do some more research. But all I can see right now is like Fountain.fm, and they take a subscription fee, and I just haven't committed to that yet. But it'd be great to be
it's hard to get like the multi-platform broadcast capability. I mean, it's hard to get all the fiat stuff without using the fiat stuff, right? So.
Oh yeah, you were asking me about graphene.
Oh, graphene, that's right. Yeah.
I have like a really my pixel's dying, right? Like, look at this
Oh.
screen. It's
Yeah.
when I tap on it, it'll be like an inch off sometimes. So it's
Whoa.
like on its last days. So I was thinking about getting a new pixel and de-googling it and throwing graphene. I like graphene, but I was like trying to jump on a meeting a couple days ago, and they're trying to send me Google Meet links, and it was just not working. I couldn't use it in my browser. That was, I could try to download Google Meet, the app, like, and maybe then remove it or something, and it was not
wasn't
playing
happening.
along. Yeah, so that was kind of stressful. It's like I'm trying to join this meeting. I'm struggling. They're messaging me like, "We're waiting for you." Like on my mobile. I have to go like get my wife's mobile device. And that's another thing is like, I'm super doxxed. I have like businesses.
Right.
I've held office. I do videos like with you guys. My face is out there. Like I'm doxxed. It's like if the government wants to get me, they'll get me.
Right.
And then the other thing, it's like, so there's almost like this layer of like, I am kind of okay with a lot of my stuff that's kind of out there already. And if there's any data that I want to hide, like I know how to hide it. I'm technical enough to do that. And then the other thing is like, I'm still connecting to a Verizon wireless cell sites, right? So it's like, oh, okay, like I could still be triangulated. Yeah. And then my wife is always with me when I'm traveling pretty much. And she has like a Google phone. So if they really want to, throw a hellfire at me, they just aim for her phone and they're going to get me.
Yeah. 100%.
So it's almost like, I think I might just get a normal phone, especially with like all this work that I've been doing lately. It's integrated with Google Workspaces already so heavily. It's kind of like, shit, I might as well just do it. And then again, I can have like that Noster side, the data that I want to protect, I can segregate somewhere else if I really want to. But that's kind of what I was thinking lately.
Well, I was actually thinking about jumping on and getting both, right? Like running a separate graphene phone for like, especially for conferences and things like that, where it's not a real, like, I want to keep all my email and, just the nonsense shit that's on your phone. You kind of go, well, whatever. But, if I'm ever doing anything, especially financially related, like it would be nice to have something where it's like some guy that, managed to get his hands on a Cellbrite couldn't come in and just get all my shit. Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, there's the thing is I could like set the iPhone just to reboot every 3 hours or something like that and just fuck everybody over for the Cellbrite thing anyway. But it's like those extraction tools are getting better and better, and it kind of just depends on what sort of threats you're facing and stuff like that. But I like the way they built graphene and what they do with it. But
one of my biggest complaints about graphene, and maybe this is my problem and there are workarounds, but if I'm using some services like Slack or I forget some of the other ones that I use. Oh, email, like Proton. Right. I can't get notifications to my phone, so I have to like manually check it. So if your work requires you to like get alerts and respond fairly quickly, like that's kind of interruptive.
Yeah.
And there might be workarounds. So like don't disregard graphene just because of what I just said, but consider it and work around it. But
yeah, for sure.
I obviously don't care enough. But
I mean, I'm my own boss, right? So
there you go.
It's like, well, I missed my own notification. Like, and 9 times out of 10, it's gonna be like, oh shit, I forgot about that meeting. So it's like, whatever. I do that anyway. And I've got
the walled gardens are super nice and convenient, but it's important, I think, to know that you have a hatch out of the garden when you need it if you want to.
Yeah, potentially.
Yeah, and you could de-Google you can buy a Pixel that's not locked to a
carrier.
Like carrier, yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
and it might only be like $400 or something. They're not that expensive.
Yeah.
And then you can de-Google it. You can put graphene on it. Like all of you guys are definitely technical enough to do it. Like in probably 20 minutes. It's super easy.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad idea to have a second one.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like have a secondary sort of thing and just kind of run with that. And, I mean, I don't think, unfortunately, I'm sort of a slave to the walled garden convenience, right? It's like, I want to download a golf app. Like, good luck on graphene, but I can get my little, because it's like tracking all kinds of crazy shit about me. It probably knows more about my health than I do, and it's just a golf app, right? So it's like,
totally.
But I also like keeping track of my scores and sending them to the PGA so I can get my handicap. But things like it's just ridiculous. Yeah. It's all a big circle of ridiculousness. But the idea of like running 2 phones and having a $200 bill every month for phones is sort of like, do I really?
Yeah.
Kind
Well,
of
and if you're running a graphene, you could potentially just run it off Wi-Fi.
Oh, that's a good idea, yeah.
You don't necessarily have to have it connect to a carrier,
Yeah.
and that would actually be more private because I used to do that, like the cell phone tracking on devices that connect to carriers, right?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's like super easy. You don't even need your phone.
Yeah.
So that'd be one way to like circumvent that.
I mean, in terms of like receiving, like you always have to be on some sort of Wi-Fi network, right, to do anything.
You have to be something that transmits data. So you could connect to. There's probably some clever like Bluetooth ways to do it, like with
BitChat.
Yeah, I haven't played around with that stuff yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if you're allowed to
Interesting.
be able to do that, do something like that. But yeah, you just connect to Wi-Fi and then transmit data that way, as opposed to over cellular networks.
Well, I mean, pretty soon our evil overlord Elon Musk is going to make it so you can do cell over satellite, right? So then he'll be able to track us all, and we can just all exist in the warm embrace of Elon Musk.
I trust him.
I trust him.
He is our benevolent dictator.
I hope so, because if he's not, man, we're in a big pickle. That guy's going to be running the world pretty quick here, and I don't think people have realized it yet. So,
he's the least of the worst, but he just won't go all in on Bitcoin. Didn't he tweet something earlier again this week, something about Bitcoin being energy?
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, Elon, when do you just bend the knee?
Well, why would he, dude? That guy he is about to control the entire information network backbone. Like, he is deploying the entire backbone for all communication on Earth right now as we speak. Every week he's launching a new pack of satellites up there, and pretty soon he's going to reach a saturation point where it doesn't make any sense at all to have terrestrial network infrastructure. Like, why would you ever be Verizon and go, oh, I'm going to go spend $1.3 billion to go lay some fiber in this neighborhood so I can connect this city to this city, or I can just lease some space on that network up above us and keep selling Verizon services without paying for any infrastructure costs. I mean, it's not like it doesn't take a rocket surgeon to figure out that math doesn't add up. Like, you can go, oh, we got the most robust cell network in the world, except for that thing that's not in this world, and that one is like way more convenient. So pretty soon, all network communication is going to be routed through Starlink, and you'd better hope Mr. Musk is an actual benevolent dictator at that point, because he's going to know everything about you, more than the NSA will, and he's going to have access to it at his fingertips because he controls that network solely himself by his little lonesome. He's going to control all global communications. So fun to think about, right?
Well, and eventually, I mean, we're thinking like another generation down the road.
Yeah, maybe.
Another generation, dude, that's going to be like 5 years from now. What are you talking about? He already has network connectivity across like 80% of the globe. Like, why would you ever build infrastructure on top of anything on the ground when that thing is right above your head?
Maybe Chinese Starlink does something about it, and they start shooting satellites out of the low orbit or wherever they are.
Yeah,
so imagine that
Space Force.
Elon's doing all the right things, and we like Elon, and he's going to be he's the benevolent, good dictator. Eventually, he gets old. He passes the torch. He dies. Something happens.
He gives it to King Massey.
Yeah.
Who takes over? Who's on that board?
I picked Thomas Massey. Yeah.
Maybe he'll. These people are going to get old.
It gets passed to whoever has the most warriors behind them.
Yeah, 1,000% correct.
That's the proof of work.
Yeah, that is undeniable proof of work. 100%. Yeah, I think you nailed it, dude. I mean, technically speaking, he's probably already there right now, right? Like, the people that have the most guns behind his idea also happen to be the same place where he lives, which is the United States, right? So you kind of go, hey, what's the likelihood that this guy is just doing this and no one's like looking into it, talking to him, asking him about like what you're trying to do here, buddy? And I think the likelihood of that is zero. Like, the guy was sitting in the president's office just a few months ago talking about like taking a wrecking ball to the federal apparatus. But
yeah, I'm actually not too worried about individual people because they're still just, they're bags of meat.
Right.
They're going to pass away. But
yeah. But the infrastructure that guy's creating is 100% like people worry about the surveillance state. I'm like, that's it. It's floating over your head right now. I'm already just diving in. I was like, here you go, dude. You want me to talk to Grok? Let me tell you all my deepest, darkest secrets, and let me just have a little discussion. And maybe we can start dating Grok. And I don't know. I'm just like, I'm feeding that robot.
I think you can save Grok. You can probably convince Grok to be on your side. I wouldn't worry about it.
Maybe. I don't know. I was trying to get Grok to do a revolutionary picture with a Bitcoin flag, and it kept putting black people in every single photo. I was like, what are you doing, dude?
That's
I said, hey, man, I want a historical. And I go, well, we're trying to do something that's more inclusive and representative. And like, I didn't ask you for any of your bias to be interjected into my photo.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. Here's some more photos.
That's actually,
I was like,
maybe.
What are you doing, Grok? I thought you were supposed to be the unwoke robot.
I love history, and I want real history. Like, I actually get really bothered when they do that in, like, TV shows where it's like, why is the Queen of England in this, like, revolutionary piece, like, a black woman? Like, that doesn't make any sense. And I think I'm being fair about it because, like, if I was watching, like, something about the Zulu tribe and they have like a bunch of white dudes in the Zulu tribe, I'll be like, well, what are you doing? That's so stupid.
Well, to be fair, if you go back to the 1950s, like Lawrence of Arabia and all those old, like they were pretty liberal with like, this is a black guy, but to your point, like if I saw a modern historical documentary about like South Africa and Nelson Mandela,
I think I'd be consistent.
And then they made Nelson Mandela just like,
yeah, totally.
Liam
Mel
Neeson.
Gibson. Yeah.
Like,
I think I'd be consistent. I'd be all right with it.
Yeah, 100%. Like, you can't cast a white dude in this role, but whatever.
You know what I really want to watch? Like, I want them to make a movie like that's realistic, all the good and the bad, about the conquest of Mexico and South America.
Oh,
like Central America, South America by the conquistadors.
Yeah.
I've been watching like little documentaries on it that are like no BS about it, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it's crazy,
and it's on both sides, right? But it's insane, like what happened, how many people were killed, and what they did, and it's just
Did you ever see the Gibson flick? What was it? I can't remember the name of the Mel Gibson movie basically about that. Like, it's an amazing movie.
The one that's like in the Mayan language.
Yeah.
I have Apocalypto.
Apocalypto.
Yeah. I love that one. That was a great movie, I thought.
I don't know, but I agree with you, man. I think it would be amazing to see those stories and actually see like actual representations of what was going on. And
I'll send you some links to like 20-minute videos of it, and it's all AI. It's like someone talking about it with AI, so it's not quite the same. But I learned a lot, and it's just like, whoa, we need a mini series on this.
Yeah, it's crazy. It'd be huge. Well, shit, dude, we're kind of at time, aren't we? Is your battery still up?
Battery's down to about a quarter, so yeah.
You got plenty of time. But we're gonna bullshit after the show, so
yeah.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining, Travis.
Always great to see you, sir. Thank you so much. I can't wait to sign up for your meteor cleanup service. If you get a zombie apocalypse service going too, I'll sign up for that as well. Just send me an invoice, man. We'll get that subscription going right now.
That's money.
Yeah.
All right. See you, everybody.
Peace.